Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of This Week in Philadelphia Sports, where, as you might have guessed it, we go over everything that's happened this week in Philadelphia sports. Again, if you're new to this channel and you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, we are so close to 21,000 of you in our community and we would love for you to join our family. There's going to be plenty of Eagles content, giveaways and so much more between now and whenever the season, if there's a season, kicks off. It's only right that we start with the Philadelphia Eagles today, because if you listen closely, if you look hard enough, training camp is back. Padded practices are back at the NovaCare Complex. What a vibe!
Don't know about you guys, but I love to vibe.
Although, in typical Eagles fashion, minor quibble, we've already got some injuries. Javon Hargrave and Derek Barnett are apparently week to week with different injuries. Javon Hargrave suffering a pec, and although both are expected to return by the start of the season, let's not forget Deshaun Jackson's or any injury, actually, from the last 3 years. Let's band those together. This is certainly less than ideal for a position where last year the Eagles spent big bucks on Malik Jackson, only for him to tear his ACL in week 1. And in the season before that, Timmy Jernigan struggled, missed most of the season, and came back at the very end to make a bit of an impact. Now, Hargrave himself does seem to be taking this very well and looking like he's going to rebound soon. That can only be seen as a promising sign, but you can't help but worry this isn't good. The great news is, though, that Jackson and Hassan Ridgeway are behind him, so depth isn't really going to be a problem. And then you've also got the wild card of Anthony Rush as well. A defensive end, though. Oh, it's Jannard Avery season. Let's just hope that Barnett can get back on his feet soon, because going into a couple of years that are vital for him, with a 5th-year option down the line, he needs to be at his best. He's already struggled with inconsistency. He's already battled injuries. He can't afford to lose more time here. Before the practice even started, though, the Eagles, they waived Kyle Lauletta, which left me a little bit heartbroken. And they brought back wide receiver Marcus Green, who's been around the roster for a while. And now on surface, the move makes sense. I get it. They're not going to keep 4 quarterbacks if they do want familiarity on a shortened off season. Sudfeld starting out at QB2, Hurts at QB3. That's all you really need, isn't it? Let's be honest. And then with Marcus Green, he does have the upside of playing some potential role in special teams and kick returns and stuff like that. So I get it. Don't mean I still might cry though. But technically this will mark the return of our training camp diary series, so that will start as of tomorrow, so stay tuned for that one. But we'll try and squeeze some into today just to give you a little taster of what's to come. Jalen Reagor was looking good. He caught 2 passes from Carson Wentz during a 5-play drive, which is relatively impressive. Apparently looking clean in and out of his breaks, which is all you could really ask for a first-round pick in his first off-season, which is shortened like this. You want to see those raw traits that will benefit him at the next level, and certainly gaining separation is absolutely one of them. There was also what I'm calling the Triple H connection. We're calling it Jalen Hurts, John Hightower, hysteria, because I couldn't think of another H word. But it's time to play the game, if you pardon the pun. After a bit of a rusty day for John Hightower, he was saved by a huge deep touchdown from Jalen Hurts. And if you want to see it, God, we're lucky to have John Clark around, who caught this incredible angle. Yeah. Not really sure what to make of that one, lads. Sorry. But he looked good though, didn't he? I mean, God, that 9 route, he got separation off the line. You could see the... yeah. Sean Bradley, the 6th round pick out of Temple, had a very good day at the office, along with Vinny Curry, which is a perfect sign. Now, every year there seems to be a training camp hero, whether it's Greg Ward or Paul Turner or even Aaron Grimes from a few years ago. To see Sean Bradley, a local product out of Temple, come in, make a splash at linebacker, a position the Eagles are notably light at, is an encouraging sign. You go back to last year where you had Alex Singleton and TJ Edwards doing the very same thing. There's a lot to like about that. I'm a big fan, and hopefully we see more of Sean Bradley as he looks to carve a role on Dave Phipps' special teams unit. And then finally, it looks as though Avonte Maddox will be your starting cornerback 2, at least to begin with. The depth chart currently looks as though Darius Slay CB1, Maddox CB2 with Nickel Roby-Coleman in the slot. The backup, Sidney Jones behind Maddox, probably because similar size, similar skill set. Craven LeBlanc obviously then behind Nickel Roby-Coleman, leaving Rasul Douglas to back up Darius Slay, which is very interesting because they've both had the same off-season footwork coach. And Slay has worked very closely with Douglas. Now, the problem with Douglas has always been the hip fluidity and the footwork. If that can be sort of nurtured and moved around, then I think we can absolutely see another side to Douglas this year if he stays on the roster. I'm hoping he does. I know there's been so much noise regarding trade rumors and interest from other teams. I would love to see him in a rotational role behind Darius Slay, able to break up passes in the red zone. He is that gangly cornerback at 6'3", clearly the outlier of the secondary, but he does have a skill set I think Schwartz could use, and maybe, just maybe, the secondary finally has enough firepower to allow him to do just that. But there will be more training camp diaries coming soon. I just squeezed it into, you know, Twips today, all the same. It's really hard doing that when I'm not looking at my hand. But yeah, if you enjoyed that, stick around, plenty more where that comes from. On to the Flyers, they take a 2-1 lead over the Montreal Canadiens. Carter Hart, at the age of 22, becomes the youngest ever Flyers goaltender to record a shutout after a 1-0 win the other day. At 22 years old, I was probably an emotional wreck. So, I mean, not much has changed there, really. But I think you've got to love what Carter Hart brought to the table. We had a very shaky performance in the 5-0 loss, got pulled from the game, to rebound back against Carey Price, to come in and record a shutout. What better way to make an impact? That was enthusiastic. I loved it. I don't really like what I saw from the power play. More like lack of power play. Am I right, lads? They went like over 29, it felt like, on the day. They didn't get a single goal. I mean, that's been the case for a little while. They had one power play goal in the first game, but they've been really struggling. And if they can't score at even strength, they can't expect Carter Hart to work miracles every game. They've got to find a way to get past Carey Price if they're going to win this 7-game series. I like the intensity. I love Carter Hart. The power play terrifies me, and that's kind of all she wrote. As for the Sixers, they start their playoff run tonight against the Boston Celtics. We will be having a watch-along here. Might be delayed a bit because the old, you know, video's going up. Ben Simmons, there's obviously a lot of worry that the team may not have enough firepower to get past Boston in 7, especially if Brett Brown just does Brett Brown things, which we can all hope he doesn't. Either way, the team ended their season strong against Houston in a meaningless game where backups played, but I like what I saw from Alec Burks. For me, he has clearly earned himself a very solid role in this rotation, and we can only hope he ends up getting minutes over Raul Neto, because if he doesn't, again, I might cry. As for the Phillies, they did a bit of a sweep against the New York Mets, so that's good, and they now move on to a series against Boston, which maybe isn't so good. But I think comparatively, the Boston bullpen, believe it or not, may somehow be even worse. And on to your Philadelphia Union. Paxton Aronson signed for the team, the younger brother of Wonder Kid Brendan Aronson. Oh yes, you thought one was bad enough for the MLS. You thought that one Brendan Aronson was enough for global domination. Well, don't worry, because if a huge Bundesliga club or someone in Scotland decides to try and poach Brendan from the Union, not to worry, Paxton's on the way now. He's much younger. Jim Kershin very, very high on him. I'm excited to see what he can do. I'm genuinely very, very enthralled to see the duo. If they make the same team, more than anything, I'm just excited for the Yaya and Colo chant, but Paxton and Brendan. As that brings us to the end of another video of This Week in Philadelphia Sports. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like, drop your feedback down below. From myself, Liam Jenkins, thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. We'll see you soon.